Don't drop the souffle, don't drop the souffle, don't drop the souffle. Okay, good. Hi, I'm Melissa Clark. I'm a reporter for NYT Cooking, and we are here in the beautiful kitchen studio to make soufflés because we want to treat ourselves to something delicious. Today we're gonna make two soufflés, a sweet one and a savory one. We're gonna make a cheese soufflé with chives. The sweet one is going to be chocolate. It is a French dish that came about in the 18th century. It didn't get codified and written down in the form that we know it today until the early 19th century. And what happens in a perfect soufflé is that all of that air that you've beaten into the egg whites expands in the oven and pushes the mixture up, and it rises and browns and becomes so light and so ethereal and so delicious. And why aren't we making one already? You want to take all the racks out of your oven and you put a baking sheet in your oven upside down. You're going to put your soufflé dish right on top of the sheet pan, which is going to get hot when we heat up the oven. And you want to set it to 400. First, we're going to start with our savory one. The classic soufflé dish was developed because you have a very thick porcelain dish which slowly heats up, which helps the eggs to rise. You want to prepare your dish really well because if you don't butter it, the soufflé will stick. Then you're going to apply some kind of dry ingredient to the sides to help the egg whites climb. For the cheese soufflé, we're going to use grated cheese on the butter. If you didn't use the grated cheese, you would have a slippery butter and it would just be harder for the egg whites to rise. Basically, we're making a white sauce. So we're gonna just heat the milk up. I'm gonna cook the flour in the butter and then add the warm milk. So the reason that you cook the flour in the butter is to get rid of that floury taste. It improves its thickening power, it helps it thicken. You just want it to be a little bit golden. So you wanna stir, 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 because you wanna get rid of all those lumps. You see how tight this is and how thick? This is important because if the mixture were too runny, it would drag the eggs down. So you're looking for actually quite a tight mixture. It should look like paste. Now I'm gonna add the egg yolks to this white sauce, but I don't wanna do it until it cools down a little bit. I want it to be warm, but not hot enough to cook them. I'm gonna add my seasoning first. Paprika, salt. This is freshly grated nutmeg, and then I'm gonna add the yolks, but I'm gonna wait for it to cool down just a smidge. You know what's annoying about most classic soufflé recipes, including this one? It calls for 5 egg whites and 4 egg yolks. Luckily, having an extra yolk around is a good thing. I love it on rice. Oh my gosh, just like an egg yolk into a bowl of hot rice is the most delicious thing. So we know right now eggs are really expensive. So this is a bit of an investment, but soufflés are also a time investment. They're an energy investment. So you're not gonna make a soufflé on like a casual Tuesday night. They're a luxurious dish. This is when you wanna treat yourself. So we're gonna let this hang out and we're gonna move on to beating the whites. So traditionally, when soufflés were first coming into being, there were no electric mixers, it was all arm power, but people used copper bowls. And the reason they would use a copper bowl is because a little bit of acidity helps the egg whites reach volume and then keep their volume without becoming overbeaten. We're gonna use an electric mixer and a regular metal bowl to make up for that acidity. I have cream of tartar. So that is going to help the egg whites reach volume and also prevent them from over whipping. When beating egg whites, you wanna start at a medium speed and then gradually build the speed. Okay, so we're getting foam. We're just gonna wait for them to reach stiff peaks, and I'll show you what that means. What do they look like? They look like a bubble bath. They're in bubble bath stage. Eventually they're gonna become cloud-like. Okay, basically, this is what we're looking for. When you pick your beater up, they need to hold little peaks. See, that's not going away. That's just staying there. I'm switching from this to this, because what I wanna do now is I'm going to fold these whites into this mixture, which is still warm, which is what you want. It's much harder to incorporate the eggs into a cold mixture like this because you see how thick it is. If you put it in the fridge, it would get even thicker and be really hard to fold the eggs in. You really can't make this ahead. This needs to be warm. So you want to add the egg whites about a quarter of it at a time. And I'm going to work quickly but gently. Folding is an exercise in slowing down for me because you don't want to overmix. What you want is to keep as much volume as possible on these whites. I'm not worrying about these streaks. I'm leaving them there. That is perfectly fine. And especially at this stage because there's going to be more mixing. And folding really is, I'm just folding the mixture over onto itself. And now that I've gotten it lighter, I'm going to start adding the cheese as well. So it just all goes in stages. Gruyere is traditional for soufflés. You can use any kind of sort of semi-firm grated cheese, Comté, cheddar, Gouda, and then this is just Parmesan. And we've got some chives, but any herbs would do. So I am gonna keep folding until almost all of the white streaks are gone, but not all. I'm gonna purposely leave some white streaks in there. Yeah, I think this is ready to go into our dish. Look at that. Does this look as awkward as it feels? I'm holding this backwards just so you all can see. All right, so now I'm gonna show you another trick to help us get the best possible rise on the souffle. When it reaches the top, it could get stuck to the cheese like right above it. If you create a little bit of separation, what you're doing is you're giving it space to just keep rising. You want to take either finger or thumb, and I'm going to create a little space between the edge of the souffle on the top and the souffle dish. And this is going to help the souffle rise right up. And that's it. So now this is gonna go into our preheated oven. Alrighty, here she is. A thing of beauty, and it should be jiggly but firm. You see how that is jiggly but firm? Oh, she's a beauty. Everything happened the way it was supposed to happen. The air trapped in the egg whites got hot, it expanded, it pushed it all up, it rose, it's gorgeous. We're gonna put some chives on top just to make it even more gorgeous. Seriously, is there anything more special than a souffle? Serve these hot. This is gonna, you can see in real time. Can you watch it deflate? I wanna get a side piece because I wanna show you. That's what you get from buttering and cheesing the souffle dish. I mean, souffles are just really, really good. They're not fast and they're not easy, but boy, are they worth it. All right, that's it for this guy. Now that we have mastered the savory one, we're gonna go on to the sweet. And we're gonna start with the dish. Let's see how high rise we can get. And now sugar, be generous. See how I'm working over this pan? So that way I can pour out the excess sugar. You really want a nice thick coating, so that is done. This will just be waiting for us when we're ready for it. All I'm doing is melting chocolate with butter. And I'm doing it in a double boiler situation, so water on the bottom, bowl goes on top. I've got extra bitter chocolate here. You can use any dark chocolate. You could use semi-sweet, bittersweet, extra bitter. If you ever buy bittersweet chocolate, there's often a number on the package. They'll say like 72 or 55. This one is 60. That is the percentage of cacao solids. The higher that percentage, the less room there is for things like sugar. It means the chocolate will be less sweet, more chocolatey. Okay, so this is hot. This is hot. This is done. I'm gonna let this cool down a little bit before I add my egg yolks because I don't wanna cook them. I'm just whisking it for a few seconds just to cool it down. This is just a pinch of sea salt. The eggs come out even on this one. I'm using 6 whites and 6 yolks, so everything gets used so you don't have your little extra yolk for your bowl of rice. But you do have a nice even souffle. And you just wanna whisk the yolks in until they disappear. That is ready for folding. So I'm just gonna leave that there and bring over the mixer. We're gonna do exactly what we did before, except we're gonna add sugar. So this is crucial, so it's gonna be slightly different. We're making a meringue, actually, as opposed to just beaten egg whites. So you don't want to add the sugar until this is already starting to become like a foam that would hold very soft peaks. See, that is a soft peak. It's peaking, but it's wobbly. And now we're going to add the sugar gradually. Notice how shiny it is? That shine is from the sugar. Ta-da! That is a stiff peak. And this is still warm, which is what you want. And so we're gonna do exactly what we did last time. Just fold in a little bit at a time. And we're gonna do about 1/4 of the whites to lighten it, and then we're gonna add the rest gradually. It barely fits in this bowl. You have so much volume.
I'm kind of wishing that we had lined the souffle pan with like ground up graham crackers.
Oh man, right? Oh my God, Adam. That needs to stay in the edit because Adam is a genius. Coconut, vanilla wafers, Be good with a banana souffle. Freeze-dried fruit. Phoebe, genius. Oh. Okay, can you imagine a salted caramel souffle with pretzels? What else we got? I love this. Okay, friends, if you have any ideas, put them in the comments. A few streaks are fine, but don't stress it. If you see a few streaks like that, it's not a big deal. Okay, and we're gonna do the same thing that we did before. We're just gonna create a little ledge between the souffle and the dish for extra rise. Do I have chocolate on my face? Miraculously. And then we're gonna put this in our preheated oven, which is preheated to 400. And then as soon as we put it in, we lower the heat to 375. It's okay if we make a mess on our counter. It's so pretty. I mean, it's just so pretty I don't even want to cut into it, except that that's a lie because I'm dying to eat this. So we also have some whipped cream, which is optional-ish. Chocolate sauce would be good with this too, just to paint the lily. Can you see the texture on that? Jiggly, just set. A little whipped cream, because why not? There's nothing like a classic chocolate souffle. It's just delicious. It's so light in texture, but the flavor is so rich. And then with the whipped cream, this is delicious. Soufflés take work, but they're just the best way to show someone that you care and eat something delicious at the same time. You can find these soufflé recipes at nytcooking.com. Come find us. You want some? Who wants soufflé?